Hello, I'm from Borroloola, and this song is called Grateful. Feel free to clap along, and yeah, hope you enjoy. From the start to the finish, my friend, from the beginning to the end, rapping from the heart is no easy task. Do what you gotta do and it'll last. Keep moving forward, never looking back into the past, cause it will just be a distraction, attacking your mental action. If you find some help for yourself, then you'll feel the satisfaction. Coming back in, then you'll make things happen. Now I got everybody head bobbing along to my song. This is a young man from BLA, aka Borroloola. I got something to say. Everything is going good, gotta find a way to thank God, so I pray for the food on my plate every night and day, and for the warm bed and the roof that's over my head. I said what I said, yes I have dreams, I'm not ashamed. Don't paint us with the same brush, we are not the ones to blame. We are here to make a change that's happening around us, cause the bad vibe is surrounding us, trying to brainwash all of us. Grateful for my family, grateful for my friends, grateful for the love, I will hold it to the end. Grateful for my family, grateful for my friends, grateful for the love, I will hold it to the end. Grateful for my family, grateful for my friends, grateful for the love, I will hold it to the end. Grateful for my family, grateful for my friends, grateful for the love, I will hold it to the end. I remember I was hungry cause my family was always struggling and budging for money. Always broke, always used to hope my family would stop wasting money on harmful substances like alcohol and smoke show. My mom would always tell me not to do that, to do this as a kid. Now look on me now, standing in front of the crowd saying the words out loud. Then my family must be really proud of what a man I've become. Especially dad and mom, that they had a son that grew up not a screw up, that had fun even though we didn't have none. Sometimes it be a hassle, but kids gotta be careful. Most of the nights our plates wasn't that full, but I was always grateful to get food, to stop the rumbling in my stomach. At least it was something so better than nothing to stop your fussing. Grateful for my family, grateful for my friends, grateful for the love, I will hold it to the end. Grateful for my family, grateful for my friends, grateful for the love, I will hold it to the end. Grateful for my family, grateful for my friends, grateful for the love, I will hold it to the end. Grateful for my family, grateful for my friends, grateful for the love, I will hold it to the end. Showing love to my supporters and fans, because I know how it feels to be ignored, embarrassed. After all, sharing is caring. From the darkness I'm emerging, searching for the lonely and broken, healing the ones that be hurting, trying to seek attention, trying to seek affection. That's your only intentions, it's the only interaction with the world that we living in. Some say that rapping comes naturally, while others rap casually. They don't know I'm struggling, but I'ma keep hustling. As long as I'm grinding, my heart gon' keep shining. Cry later, don't forget to keep laughing, so I can keep this comforting songs coming. You know Big T, keep it PG, ain't no need for cussing, I will never stop loving. Grateful for my family, grateful for my friends, grateful for the love, I will hold it to the end. Grateful for my family, grateful for my friends, grateful for the love, I will hold it to the end. Grateful for my family, grateful for my friends, grateful for the love, I will hold it to the end. Grateful for my family, grateful for my friends, grateful for the love, I will hold it to the end. Grateful for my family, grateful for my friends, grateful for my family, grateful for my friends, grateful for my family, grateful for my friends, grateful for the love, and I will hold it to the end. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome back to Yirara.
Good afternoon everyone, and welcome to our maths lesson for Friday, the end of the week. Thank God it's Friday. I'm Mr. Liko.
And I'm Mr. Max.
And today we're going to be looking at some more maths regarding our carrying and our borrowing, and we're also going to introduce a new strategy in adding and taking away large sums, which is called the column method strategy. So let's have a look at our first slide and let's have a look at what we're learning today. So today we are learning to understand the column method strategy when solving addition and subtraction. We are also understanding the meaning of borrow, what it means to borrow, and also what it means to carry when using addition and subtraction. And we are also learning how to use place value when using these two modes in addition and subtraction. So let's have a look at the next slide and let's recap on these two key words. So our words in maths that we've focused on yesterday and throughout the lessons this week, the first word is borrow. Now if you see the picture that comes under borrow, borrow is used in subtraction or takeaway, and we've done a lot of that work in yesterday's lesson. So what does it mean to borrow? So when the number on top is smaller than the number on the bottom, that means we would need to borrow from the tens column, which then would make that number 10 more, allowing us to take away that bottom number. And we'll show you an example on the whiteboard very, very soon. So that makes the 6, for example, on the picture, a 16. Okay, and that enables us to take away large sums when using subtraction. In carry, if we have a look at carry, carry is used in addition or plus, and again we'll give you an example on the whiteboard just behind me how to carry. And as you can see in that picture, to carry means when you are adding two numbers together that comes up with a 2-digit answer, you will then need to carry a number, so therefore you're able to get that answer correct. So just reiterating what borrow and what carry means. When you borrow, you use it in takeaway. When you carry, you use it in plus or addition. Let's have a look at a couple of examples. So I'll give you that whiteboard marker.
So here we have 54 minus 26.
Yep. Cool.
And obviously this top number is smaller than the bottom number.
So as Max explained, when we start subtracting or adding 2-digit numbers using the column method strategy, would always start in the ones column first and then would move to the left of the equation. So carry on, Max.
So now that we know that this number is smaller than the bottom number, we need to borrow one of the tens from the tens column.
Yep.
So there's 5 here. That's 5 tens. That's what that means. So what we do is that becomes a 4 because we've borrowed one of the tens. And this becomes, there's a 1 here, a 10. So this becomes 14 instead of 4. We then take away 6 from 14, and that is 8. Then we go over to the next column. This is the tens column once again. And we have 4 take away 2, and we can do that.
Yep.
And we get 2, and that's our answer.
Yeah, so which means 54 minus 26 gives you that answer of 28, using the column method strategy and also using that word borrow. Okay. All right, so let's have a look at how we could carry, use it in an example. So as you can see in an example. So as you can see here, we've changed the mode here. We're doing addition. Which side do we start on, Max?
So we always start from the right-hand side whenever we're doing these things, and that's because that's the ones column.
Yep.
So 5 plus 6, that would be 11. But we can't write 11 here because there's only room for one number. So what we do is we write 1 from the 11, that's the right-hand side of 11, and we carry the 10 over to this side, and that's where we put it there.
Yep, nice.
And so now we go over to the next column, and we have 16 because it's...
So 6
yeah.
plus 1 plus 1.
6 plus 1 plus 1,
Yep.
which is, this becomes a 7. This all becomes a 7. And 7 plus 1 is 8,
Yeah.
81.
Nice. So which then means 65 plus 16 equals 81. So again, a really, really cool way to add 2-digit numbers using the column method strategy. And remember, in addition, we carry. Yeah? Awesome. So we thought we'd introduce a game today, looking at place value, and we're going to show you how to play this game. The cool thing about this game is that you can also do this back in your homes or in your communities by simply grabbing either a whiteboard and whiteboard markers if you have any, or you can even use paper and pen. The extra thing you will need, however, is a dice if you have some lying around, but we'll show how to play this game. So let's head over to the work desk over here, Max. You can. So as you can see here, you can either use paper or pen. What you'll need to do is you'll need to draw 3 blank lines. We've titled, so this is my side, Mr. Liko's side, and on the other side is Mr. Max. as you can see, we have 2 dice. What we're going to do is we're going to have turns at rolling the dice each, and we're going to see what number comes up. The main idea is to create the biggest number by using your knowledge of place value. So, because Max has the dice in his hands, he's going to take the first turn.
So, I've rolled a 1.
Cool.
So since I've rolled a 1, and that's the lowest that I could get, I would want to put that into the ones column.
Yeah.
So as to give it the least value possible, because we could get higher numbers. So 1 goes there.
Cool.
Your turn.
All right. I have a 5. So this is a tricky one. Whether I'd want to put that in the tens column or the hundreds column. I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to put it in the middle here.
So you think you'll get a 6 later then?
Hopefully. Let's see.
Okay, we'll see. Let's see. I got a 4. So I think I'll also take a risk and I'll put a 4 in the tens column. So there's a 4 there.
Cool. All right. Another 5. All right. I'm going to put that in the ones column.
Oh, you sure about that?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I am. You
All
watch
right.
out. I'm coming for you.
All right. We've got a 2. Haven't been very lucky so far.
No.
There's a 2. 241.
So the final number that Max has finished with is 241. Depending on what I roll next, which I hope is more than a 2, which...
Well, even a 2 would win you.
Yeah,
You didn't
definitely.
win a 2,
Yeah.
so you need to get a 1.
Yeah. So here we go.
There you go. There you go.
A 2. All right. So using this place value game, I see Mr. Liko or myself, I've got 255. Max has got 241. You'll then determine which number is bigger. The person with the biggest number obviously is the winner. And the cool thing about this game is you can simply play as many rounds as you can. You can play up to 5, you can play up to 10, and determine who the winner is there. We're going to take it up a notch and we're going to add a new column. So, I'm just going to rub. I'll just get the dust over here. We're going to add a new column where we will focus on we're going to add a new column, which means will give us a thousands column. Okay, so on my side of the whiteboard, I have the ones over here, the tens, the hundreds, and the thousands. Still the same concept, and this time we're just going to see who's got the biggest number. So let's have a go.
Since you won, you go first.
All right. 5. All right, I'm going to put that in my hundreds column.
Okay. 1. I'm going to put that into my ones column.
Not very lucky today, are you,
No,
Max?
very unlucky.
4. I'll put that in my tens column.
2. I'll put that in my tens column as well.
3.
That's more like it.
I'll put that in my ones.
4. I'll put that in my thousands column. That's a risk.
And a 1 in my thousands column.
And a 5 in mine. There you
All right.
go. Finally,
So-
I won.
Let's have a look, see what the number that I've come up with. So, can you see 1543? How would we say that in words, Mr. Max?
1,543.
Cool. And your number is,
4,521.
which makes you the winner.
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
it?
right. By about 3
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. You don't have to remind me. All right. So, again, an awesome game that you can play back at home and in community to really not only test your decision making, but also to teach you the value of each number using place value. So we'll move on to our task for today. So in your workbooks, just bring that down. So in your workbooks, you will see that our task for today is using the column method strategy, which we focused on the whiteboard. The good thing about this task is you're not asked to carry just yet. So this time it's just straightforward addition, but knowing that we always start on the one side or the ones column or the right hand side of that equation. So let's do the first 3 together and then we'll give you the chance to complete the rest on your own. So starting on the ones column, what do we have there, Mr. Max?
We have a 0 and a 4. 30 and 54. So we go 0 plus 4 is 4. Move to the next column, the tens column. 3 plus 5 is 8.
8. So
84.
Yeah, nice. So 30 plus 54 is 84. Let's do a couple more. So 0 plus 8, starting on the ones side or the ones column.
That's 8. And 2 plus 7 is
9.
9.
Cool. So 98. So 20 plus 78 is 98. So you don't need to be afraid to add big numbers anymore, especially when you use this column method, which makes it really simple to add those big numbers. Let's do one more. So 3 plus 0
equals 3. And 5 plus 4 equals 9.
So 53 plus 40 equals 93. So have a go with that task. If you can complete the rest by yourself there in your student workbooks, that'll be awesome, and we'll revisit those answers on Monday. The next task, and your final task for our lesson today, is again addition, but this time we're going to have a look at adding 2-digit numbers and see what kind of patterns that we can see when adding these numbers. So let's do the first 2 together. So we have 5 plus 6 there at the top there, using your fingers or using the strategies that we've gone over so far. 5 plus 6 equals
11.
11. Cool. So as we see, all of these numbers are being added by 6. The great thing about this pattern that I see is we know that the ones column will always be the same number. So if Mr. Max will go ahead and put a 1 in each of those lines, the only number that will change is the tens column. So the next number is 15 plus 6. What would that be, Mr. Max?
So 15 plus 6 would be 21.
Cool. All right. 45 plus 6.
Should be 51.
And 65 plus 6.
71.
Yeah. So a cool number pattern that we see there, as I've explained, is that the ones column will always remain the same if you're adding by the same number in that equation. So have a go. As you can see on the rest of the questions, these will all be the same type of number pattern, and you'll be able to increase your addition skills. Cool. Thank you, Mr. Max.
Thank you.
All right, so that brings us to the end of our math lesson for today. Let's have a look at our success criteria, or what did we achieve today. So we are able to understand how to use column method strategy to add and subtract. We're also able to show how to borrow and also carry when taking away numbers and adding numbers. We're also able to understand how to use place value, and we've done that in the awesome game that we just showed, and completing those 2 tasks that we've set for you in our workbooks. So thank you again for tuning in. You're doing an amazing job, watching us live each and every day. We wish you a very blessed and restful weekend, and we can't wait to see you on Monday. Thank you again, and we'll see you then on Monday. Bye.
See you.
Welcome back, everybody. We hope you enjoyed that math lesson. Now we're going to move into our integrated learning lesson for our Friday, the end of this week. As you can see, Mr. Max is holding up an awesome flag there, our national flag, and we're going to focus on some of the elements that makes our Australian flag very, very special at some point in this lesson. So let's focus on that first slide and see what we're learning today. So we are learning to recap on each state emblem of Australia, which is some of the learning that you've already done in the last couple of lessons. We'll also take a closer look at the flag of Australia, as I mentioned that Max is proudly holding, and we'll recap by understanding our words of the week. I know we've focused on a lot of new words this week, and we thought that we would finish off the week by giving you a reminder on what those words mean and how those can be defined using pictures. Okay, so let's have a look and recap on some of our emblems or the state emblems that are used around our country. So if you can see on the slide, you can see a lion, a kangaroo, and that actually represents the state of New South Wales. Right, so what are some of the cool things that make the New South Wales emblem unique, as we see on the slide there, Mr. Max?
Well, what's interesting is that there's that red and blue cross, which is taken from the English flag itself, the English St. George's cross.
Yeah, nice. I know there's a couple more points there on the slide. So we have a lion and a kangaroo. We also have a golden sun at the top, and at the bottom there, it has the Latin words. What do those Latin words translate to in English?
They translate to newly risen, how brightly you shine.
Yeah, well, what a motivating banner there. So that's the New South Wales state emblem. If you ever see it around and you see a lion and a kangaroo or a golden sun at the top, hopefully you can remember that that belongs to the states of New South Wales. Let's have a look at the next state. Oh, that looks, the answer already gives it in the state emblem itself. What do you think it is, Mr. Max?
It looks like a South Australian state emblem.
Yeah, cool. So South Australia. And some of the unique things about the South Australian state emblem is at the very top there is we have what's called the Flora, or the floral emblem of South Australia, which is the Sturt Desert Pea. We also have a white back magpie in the middle of the shield there, and as Mr. Max wrote on the task yesterday, we identified some pretty cool foods there at the bottom. So we have lemons, we have oranges, we have barley, we have wheats, and we also have some grapes on there. So should you ever come across a state emblem that has, you know, grapes and oranges, you might remember it might belong to South Australia. Cool, let's move on to the next one. All right, which state emblem is this?
Well, it's got our black swan, and that's a Western Australian animal.
Yeah, all right, so let's have a look. And you're spot on there, Mr. Max. So we've got Western Australia there. Some of the cool things that make the Western Australia state emblem very, very unique is we have two kangaroos here, as Mr. Max mentioned, from Western Australia that are holding boomerangs. We also have a black swan in the middle there, and we have the plant at the top there, which is called the Mangles kangaroo paw, which is really, really interesting. Let's have a look at the next states. And we looked at this yesterday because of what that green olive branch that the person on the left of the shield there is holding. What do you reckon? Who do you reckon that belongs to?
This is my home state of Victoria.
Oh, home state of Victoria. Is he correct there? It is. So what's unique about the Victoria state emblem? So we have two ladies on both sides of the shield. We also have a kangaroo at the top there holding a crown. And we have the words at the bottom there, meaning staying peace and prosperity, which is some awesome words to go by. All right, what does our next state show us? A pretty busy one, this one. What do you reckon that might be?
Oh, I'm not sure. What do you think this is?
Now, I think that is the Australian Capital Territory.
Right, it's a pretty big emblem, isn't it, with a big
is.
castle.
Yeah, a couple of swans
I can tell you there aren't any castles like that in Canberra.
No? All right, okay. All right, so yesterday we asked a question. Can you remember why is one swan coloured black and why is one swan coloured white? Do you remember, Mr. Max?
No, I don't.
No,
What do you think?
Okay, it actually represents so the settlement of the British here in Australia, or the non-Indigenous, And the other swan represents the indigenous people who have settled in Australia for many, many years, making them the oldest culture around the whole world. So it represents both sides of Australia, giving us that diversity and mix of cultures. So we have a black and a white swan, we have a castle in the middle there, and we have the words at the bottom there for the Queen, the law, and the people, which is an emblem. It represents the capital of Australia, Australian Capital Territory. Cool. Right, I think this is the best one. Mr. Max, what do you reckon?
This is our own NT
Yeah,
emblem.
all right. So the cool things that make the NT State emblem very, very unique. We have two kangaroos holding shells from the NT. They're actually shells on the coastline of the NT, which makes us very, very unique. We also have an eagle at the top, again an NT animal, and we have indigenous designs there in the middle of the shield, which represents the travels and the meeting places of our indigenous peoples right here in the Northern Territory, which is an awesome piece of history. Cool. Yeah. All right. So now let's have a look at this amazing flag that we have. And the question on the slide there is, where's the Australian flag used? And you can see some pictures start coming up. So it's used in sports, it's used on famous landmarks, it's actually used on clothing, it's used in sorry business and in sad times or funerals. It's also used in a lot of schools, so you might see it a lot around here at Yirara College, and it's also used around the world by our famous politicians, as you can see there on the slide. So the Australian flag is used like many other countries in the world. It stands out a lot from the rest, maybe not so much New Zealand, only because they look very similar. But we know that the Australian flag is something that we're very proud of, and I'm sure that Australians hold close to their hearts. So those are some examples of where the Australian flag is used. Let's have a bit more of an understanding of what it actually means. So if we point the camera here to Mr. Max, as we mentioned right at the start of our lesson, there are three really important elements of the Australian flag. The top left-hand corner is called the Union Jack, and the Union Jack represents the British settlement, or the settlement of British people right here in Australia. And I remember asking you this question earlier, Mr. Max. Do you remember what year, or roughly around what year, British settled here in Australia?
That was around the year 1788.
1788. So in the late 1700s, the British people came over into Australia and established themselves, and that's why we have the Union Jack on the Australian flag. At the bottom there is the biggest star on the flag, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 points on this star, and it's called the Commonwealth Star. And these points of the star represent the states and the territories right here in Australia, which we've looked at today with the emblems. So that's a great way to represent the coming together of our states that makes Australia very, very unique. And the last element of the Australian flag are these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these 5 stars. They're in a particular shape. What do you think that might be, Mr. Max?
This is the Southern Cross, which is a group of stars that can be seen from any point in Australia and most of the Southern Hemisphere as well. Yeah,
and it's really, really unique because you can only see the shape of stars in the Southern Hemisphere. They can't see this in the Northern Hemisphere, which makes a really, really important element of the Australian flag. Yeah, cool. So we're going to get into today's task. And your task today in your student workbooks is exactly about what we've just talked about. So there are 2 parts to this task. The first part is some information about the Australian national flag. So let's have a look at some of the cool information there. So the symbols, as you can see underneath symbols, the Australian national flag has 3 elements. We have, on a blue background, the Union flag or the Union Jack, the Commonwealth Star, and the Southern Cross. Now you might want to highlight this information as Mr. Max is doing, because you'll need these answers for the next part of this task. So as you can see there, it's broken down in each part: the Union flag, the Commonwealth Star, and the Southern Cross. And your task is to have a little bit of a read through what each of those elements mean, and it will give you a bit more information as to how that makes our Australian flag so special. there's also some history behind that flag, and we'll read that together just now. So, following the Federation of Australia on the 1st of January 1901, Prime Minister Sir Edmund Barton announced an international competition to design a new flag for the new nation. The competition attracted 32,823 entries. 5 nearly identical entries were awarded first prize, with their designers sharing the £200 prize money. The flag was first publicly displayed on 3rd of September 1901. So right from 1st of January, they didn't actually show our flag until a few months later, which is a bit of history behind that flag. As we saw in those pictures on the PowerPoint, you can see where the flag is also used, and it can be flown on any day of the year, but it's also used to celebrate some pretty cool events within our Australian calendar. So the next part of your task, and let's have a read of the task. Read the information sheet, which we've just done, about the Australian national flag. Using the information, you are to fill in the 3 boxes below to show what each part of the flag means. So as you can see, there are 3 blank boxes with a question at the top there. What does this symbol mean, with an arrow pointing to each element of that flag? So using that information, and also what we've just explained, you can watch this video when it's uploaded at a later point to see if you can get the answers to those questions. Cool? All right, so before we wrap it up, we're going to go over some of the important words that we've focused on this week really quickly to give you a breakdown on what each of these words mean. And we've used pictures to define some of these words. So the first word is what, Mr. Max?
Commonwealth.
Commonwealth. Okay, so looking at these pictures, which picture do you think might relate to that word, Commonwealth?
Well, I think it would be this one here.
Okay.
Because this is the emblem of the federal government, which is the Commonwealth.
Cool.
So I'm going to put Commonwealth right under there.
Nice. All right. Flora, a word that I know Miss Pam had a look at, and flora would go with this really beautiful plant over here. So flora means plants that is unique to that particular state or that particular area where it's from. Okay. Right. Natural, a word that we looked at yesterday. Natural is something that is created from nature and is not man-made. And if we have a look at some of these pictures, yeah, we'll go with this beautiful landscape that we see in this picture over here. Fauna. Now fauna, you might remember, is a particular animal that is from that state or that area. So having a look at these pictures, right, would go with animals, and animals that is from that area. Emblem, we're focused on today. So emblem is a symbol that represents a quality, a state, or a country, or an organization. And for example, we have our NT emblem over here, and that's the meaning of that word. Southern Cross, which we explained today, is a group of stars, right? And as we can see there, stars like we have on our Australian flag. Logo, something that's used in sports teams or companies, normally sold for money, right? And that would go with the very famous KFC, Mr. Max's favorite. All right, and the last one there, we have man-made, and we know this popular building, we know that it's obviously not made from nature, but something that humans have made themselves. Okay, so those are some of the key words that we've focused on throughout this week, and hopefully that's given you a breakdown on what those words mean. So looking at our last slide, what have we learned today? We are able to show our understanding of the state emblems of Australia. We are able to understand keywords we have talked about throughout this week, and thank you to Mr. Max and his help, we are able to better understand the different parts of the Australian flag. Cool. All right, that wraps us up for Year 7 and 8 Maths and Integrated Learning. We hope you have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you right here on Monday. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you are, from Yirara College, and I hope everyone's doing okay. It's a crazy time with all the COVID and the lockdowns and the lockouts and the lock-ins. It's driving me nuts. even down here in Alice Springs. Anyhow, got a story today. Long time ago story. And if you got to understand it, to remember how the country was where the Son of Mary was living. The Son of Mary, you know the one. Well, where he was living, it was Hebrew people. All up and down the land, Hebrew people. His people. But also, right in the middle, other people. People called Samaritans. And they had some land right in the middle called Samaria. Samaria was their land. All around it, Hebrew land. That's the people of the Son of Mary. One day, Jesus is traveling from up north down south. And in the middle, it's the land of the Samaritans. Now his people, Hebrew people, and Samaritan people, you know, they don't get on. Long time ago there was one people, they were one family, but long time ago they had all this, I don't know, trouble, arguments, fighting, and now they don't get on, they don't like each other, they don't shake hands, they don't even want to talk to each other. Now Jesus is traveling from up north down to the south. In the middle, he's got to come real close to Samaritan land. He's walking through, he comes to a little community. Outside of the community, there's 10 fellas. 10 fellas are standing outside, looking at him. And he looks at them. He sees they got leprosy. That's a sickness on your skin. It's really bad. And if you had that sickness on your skin, it was shame. Couldn't go anywhere. It was like lockdown. It was like quarantine. Everyone would just walk away from you. So anyhow, Jesus sees 10 fellas standing out the front of this community. And they have this sickness on their skin. And when he gets closer, they sing out to him, "Hey, Son of Mary, please help us." And you know what Jesus does? He just looks at him and he says, "Get going. Get going. Go and show yourself to the priests." Now, if you had that sickness on the skin, and you wanted to go somewhere, you had to go to a priest. And the priest would look at your skin and say, yeah, it's right. That sickness is gone. You can go. Or the priest might say, "No, it's no good. It's not fixed. You've got to stay still." So these 10 fellas, they sing out to Jesus, "Hey, Son of Mary, can you help us?" And he says, "Get going. Get going and go and show yourself to the priest so he can look at your skin." Well, you know what happens. You know the story. They hardly got going on the road and they checked their skin. And every single one of them, their skin is good. And now the kicker in the story, one of them, just one, turns around and walks back to Jesus to say thank you. And then one fella, guess where he was from? He was from Samaria. He was a Samaritan. The Samaritan comes back. He says thank you to Jesus, and Jesus says to him, hey, didn't 10 fellas get better? How come only one came back to say thank you? How come only the Samaritan has come back? What about the others? Well, when Jesus told what happened, when he was moving around later on, some people didn't like this story. They said, Jesus, how come you always telling stories where the Samaritans look good? Do you know? We don't like them. We don't like to talk to them. Jesus said to him, well, that's what happened. Only that one fella came back to say thank you, and he was a Samaritan. I hope wherever you are, today, tonight, tomorrow, you look after yourself and your families. And I wonder what this story, this old story, can teach us today. Amen, amen. Goodbye.
Welcome everybody, this is me and my brothers who just kicking back in the studio, and this is dedicated to my Yanyel and Garwa people. RTL and BLA, let's go!
Keep on rocking, keep on rocking. Friends and family come together, one big mobbing carpinteria. Keep on rocking, keep on rocking. Friends and family come together, one big mobbing carpinteria.
Good morning. Welcome back to Yirara.
Hi and welcome to online learning for Year 9 today. My name is Miss Elizabeth and I teach in Year 9 and Year 10 classes. Firstly, again, thank you so much for showing up over these last weeks and coming in to learn each day. You are showing a great deal of strong decision making simply by tuning in right now. To get a good education, just watch these videos, and if you can, try to keep your mind sharp while the teachers are learning and teaching to you. There we go, too many words. Let's get on with what's happening today. These online lessons are a bit unusual. If you go to the Yirara College website and click on Information, then you can find our maths book, Year 9 Maths. You do need to click 2 times. And if the clinic or school will help out, they may print the book for you. Let's check out Year 9 Maths today. Thank you for turning up. Introduction and welcome. Come in and stay. Listen and watch. Our lesson is in skip counting in tens. And the do is looking at number bonds. And of course we can ask questions. Let's listen and watch. We are going to continue with our skip counting today, and skip count in tens. So let's have a look at what we did last time. Yes, skip counting in tens, 20, 30, all the way down to 150 on this chart. There they are. Well done. So skip counting in tens. Let's see what that means and how we can use it to solve some problems. Let's start at 3 and we will add 10 or skip count in 10 from 3. There we go. 14 over the line, 11 and 12, 13. Good work. So we can write this as 3 plus 10 equals 13. Well done. How about skip counting in 20? Let's have a look. It could be easy to go in groups of 10. There we are. Skip counting in 2 groups of 10. And 3 plus 20 is 23. Let's have a look at 3 plus 50. There, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And the answer is 53. Very good. Let's look at skip counting in tens and start at 5. So if we start at 5, we need to skip count in 10 and the answer is 15. Very good. Let's write this down. 5 plus 10 equals 15. Lovely work. What about if we had 5 plus 20? Yes, there it is. 5 plus 20 is 25. Great work. Let's look at 5 plus 50. So we already have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and the answer is 55. Very nice. Let's look at skip counting in tens and start at 10. This looks like a familiar pattern, doesn't it? And I'm sure you could answer all of these very quickly. So 10 plus 20 equals 30. Good work. 10 plus 20 equals 30. 10 plus 50 equals, let's go on, 30, 40, 50, and the answer is 60. Very nice. Let's skip count in 10, but start at 18. This is a little different, so let's find 18 and skip count in 10. So it, yes, 28. Let's have a look at 18 plus 20. We already know that we have 18, it's 10, 20, there we are. 18 plus 20 equals 38. What about 18 plus 50? Oh, you're way ahead of me there. Absolutely. 30, 40, 50, and the answer is 68. If you don't need to keep listening, you can just race on through and finish these questions off. 22 plus 10, 32. 22 plus 20 is 42. What about 22 plus 50? 72. This is a pretty useful pattern that we can use to solve these problems, especially if we have a hundreds board. So 30 plus 10 is 40. 30 plus 20, 50. And 30 plus 50 is 80. Great work today. 36 plus 10, 46. 36 plus 20, 56. And 36 plus 50, 86. I'm sure you have the answers to these way before I finish them. So let's speed up on through these. 44 plus 20 is 64. 44 plus 50 is 94. 61. What about 51 plus 20? I wonder if you could figure it out without looking on the board. Ah, good, good. Add on another 10. And 51 plus 50, there we are, 101. Awesome work, well done today. Let's come to the do part of the lesson. Let's fill these spaces with some coloured counters and add up how many counters we need to fill the tens frame. 1 and 9 equals 10. Great. 2 plus 8 equals 10. 3 plus 7 equals 10. Well done. And here we have 4 plus 6 equals 10. And 5 plus 5 equals 10. Very good. These are number patterns that we need to memorize and know them very quickly. 6 plus 4 equals 10. 7 plus 3 equals 10. 8 plus 2 equals 10. And 9 plus 1 equals 10. For this last one, we already have 10. And so we write it this way. 10 plus 0 equals 10. Well done. Let's check our progress for the day. The introduction and welcome. The lesson was
well done.
in tens.
If there are any problems, ask someone. Or once we get our links all fixed up, then you'll be able to write a note in and we can follow again. Best thing to do, if possible, go back onto YouTube or Facebook later on and watch it over so that you get that pattern well in your head.
Well done. Stay safe, stay strong, and see you next time. These online lessons
Hello everybody, welcome back to Yirara2U, the Year 9 live streaming session. My name is Miss Rebecca Stevens. I'm one of the other Year 9 teachers here at Yirara. You might recognize me from last year. Unfortunately, because you guys are not here, I've not had the opportunity to be teaching, and so I'm actually part of the behind-the-scenes crew who's involved in filming and recording the teacher's live stream lesson. So if we take a look at our first slide for our integrated learning lesson, We're going to listen a bit more to Bush Tucker from the Desert Park, and then we're also going to do page 15 in our workbook. I hope you've been enjoying listening to Ruben. I certainly have. I've learned a lot of interesting things. So yeah, maybe you'll see me again a little bit later, but if you don't, I'll be behind the camera making sure everything works with my team. So all right, let's get to listening to Ruben. See ya.
This is not a very good example of a basically bush orange. What I need you to do is picture this being very bright green, hanging off a tree. It almost looks like the bush banana on a good day, but it's the bush orange. When you open up that really green fruit, what you'll find, I don't know if I can show you this one. No, this one's a bit old, so if it's looking like that, that's old, you can't eat it. What you would see is beautiful yellow, really like a mango yellow, and then you would pick out on it. So I just got an older one here, but at the moment, near the telegraph station and other places in Alice, basically bush orange. The bush orange, very lovely. A lot of the locals actually love eating them. So yeah, I'll chuck that one in the bush. We'll let that grow. The next one I want to show you, but I want to show you the tree, is this one here, is the bush passion fruit. And I'll explain the whole process of when you can eat it. Done. Now folks, this one here I've got in my hand is the bush passion fruit. Now, a traditional food, it'll start off as a little green fruit. There's a heap of them on this tree here, little green fruits. As it gets bigger, it will eventually, it goes yellow, like this one, and also this one. But what you've got to wait for is the end to split open. And then you open it up, and then you can try it. So basically, if you do bite on the seeds, if you're not a hot person like chili, do not bite on them. Just use it like a grape, spit it out. If you bite on them, ma'am, it's going to bite back.
Okay, so just
chili.
one of the little ones?
Yeah, anything there, ma'am. Just,
yeah.
Ma'am, you could put the whole thing in your mouth and go woof.
Okay.
And then just wash the seeds around. But if you're a person that can handle chili, bite on the seed, but you're going to get bitten back. So get ready for that.
Okay, I'm going to do a little bite. Donut is spicy. Mm.
And you imagine doing 5 or 6 of them in one hit, you're going to get a burst in your mouth. So yeah, that is. Now, the other thing, ma'am, if you leave that on there, you get this flower and you can eat it. You can eat that flower, ma'am. Oh. So the fruit, it busts open, leaves that fruit, and if you leave that, ma'am, it goes pink.
Oh, pretty.
Yeah, so green, yellow, flower, flower.
Yep.
Done. Cycle done.
And so are they still spicy when they're like this?
Have a go, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh, spiky, I forgot to tell you. It's like a
That's
bloody
okay.
thorn bush. It's like a thorn bush. Why? People must have been picking out on it one time and this tree's paying people back.
Okay, so it looks like this. I'm going to give it a try. No, that's a lot more mild, more
And
peppery,
you're probably
savoury.
going off different flavours, so from the fruit. So maybe as soon as after it's done it, bang. Maybe before it goes into the pink phase, it might give you another flavour. So, and then when it's bright pink, that might be another flavour altogether, ma'am, which it is. It's different flavours. Yeah, lots of people like vegetarian normally, Ruben, that's unreal. Yeah, but that's your veggies.
Be nice on a salad.
Yep, so yeah, and there's a lot of stuff. Pigweed, it grows on the side of the road. If I see any here, ma'am, I'll show you. You can actually pick it up and just throw it straight in your salad.
So today, really, we're looking at page 15 of the workbook, but I want to bring you back again to page 12 right here, because we're going to use this page again to answer the questions on page 15. So when we're thinking about how do I cook something, we're going to look at this set of describing words, words to describe cooking. And when we're thinking about what something might taste, we can look back at this list of words that describe how things taste. Helpfully, Mr. Dan has answered the questions on page 15 so that you can see his answers to help you do your own. So he's used words like fresh, refreshing, salty, smoky, sweet, and he's added in another word of juicy, Juicy, juicy. And he talked about the hot coals, he talked about the fire and the smoke. Okay, so what are you going to talk about when you talk about how you cook animals? What words might you use? Do you need to singe the hair? Do you need to do it quickly or slowly? Does it take a long time or a short time? How do things taste? Are they strong or are they mild? Does something ever get burnt? Is it bitter? I'm really interested in you using these really strong words to describe what you can do, just like Mr. Dan has done in his. Let's have a look.
So here we are back on page 15 of the workbook. Let's see how we can answer some questions.
We can find animals like fresh kangaroos, juicy turkeys, sweet honey ants, and other refreshing grubs. My favorite one to eat is, have a guess, the fresh kangaroos. Yep, exactly. The way we cook the roos is on the fire or under the hot smoky coals. The fresh kangaroo tastes nice, soft, smoky, and salty. That's when you add the salt, of course.
So thanks, Mr. Dan, those answers were great. But now what we're keen to hear is your answers. So page 15 of the workbook and off you go. Thank you.
To my brothers out there that's struggling, hustling, keep your head up, cause we do care. I know you're fed up, just keep your head up, just keep your head up. To my brothers out there that's struggling, hustling, keep your head up, cause we do care. I know you're fed up, just keep your head up, just keep your head up.
I woke up one day and I'm feeling truly blessed. With this life I got to live, but my hand on my chest, praying for the best, living in the moment.
Good morning. Welcome back to Yirara. Good afternoon, you wonderful people out there. Welcome back to the last session of the day of numeracy from my side. If you are joining today, high five, well done, you've been punctual, you've got all of that in line, and thank you, Mr. Tyson, for that high five as well. Today, we are going to do all about number lines. What is it, why do we need it, and how do we use it? What is a number line? According to some definitions that I've looked up, it says a number line is a line on which various numbers are shown at equal distances. Basically, it's a line with numbers on, and it has the same distance between each number. Now, there are various ways that we can write these number lines.
it doesn't always just look like the one that's on the screen there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. It can go into all different number patterns. So let us look at a few number patterns that we can use on a number line. So the first one we're showing you is the straightforward one, 1 to 20, counting in ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, up to 20. Our next one, you will see, do you see the difference in that number line? The second one, we are counting in twos. So it is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and up to 20. Our next slide, our next number line, we are counting in threes, and the next one will be in fours, and we will go then to our 5 times table, counting in fives. So you can see that our number line can have any number pattern. We have our 6 one, and I think, am I correct, Miss Rebecca? Is there still a 7 and an 8? So all of them, you can see they come in different shapes. We've got 0, 7, 14, 21, right up to 91. And we have our 8 times table. Now, we are going to look at some activities today. Okay? Now, look carefully and let's see what increments or what slides do they have. Let's look at the first one. So it says counting by hundreds. So you are going to fit in the missing numbers. So let's have a look. So we've got counting by hundreds. So what will be the next number after 200? If you say 300, well done. 300 is on our next number. Once Miss Rebecca clicks on it, the 300 will appear. So we will continue. Then we have 400, and we have 500. Then we have 600, 700, 800, and 900. So we've now gone starting from 0 and counting in the hundreds. Our next one, we're still doing hundreds. Let's look. We're starting at a 0. We're starting at going to 100. Our next one will be 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, and then 800, 900, and then we go to 1,000. Our third number line, we've now changed. We're going into counting in 50s. 0, 50, 100, 150, 200. Well done. Excellent if you said 200. 250. What do you think? What is going to be the next number, 300 or 350? Let's say. 300. Well done. Excellent. I'm sorry, I couldn't do the hand clap. I'm not that good at the background noises. Thank you, Mr. Tyson, there for clapping hands. We have 350, 400, 450, and 500. Miss Rebecca, let's go to the next slide. And let's have a look. We are still counting, people. We are still counting, and I know. But you know what? Sometimes a little reminder is always good. We're starting this time. Look, we're not even starting at 0. We're starting at 200. And we now need to know, we're looking at counting in 50s. So we've got 200, 250, 300. Next one, what do you think? 300 or 350? 400. 350? Well done. 350 it is. 400, 450, 500, 550, 600, 650, and our last number is 700. Right. So, I didn't add the 700. Man, you see these things slip up. They do slip in. So we continue counting in 50s. Take note, because your next exercises will be where you actually do your activities in your workbooks. We're back to counting in 50s. So 400, 450, 500, 550, 600, 650, 700, 750, 800, 850, and 900. And our last one where we're going to do together is our counting in 50s. And look, again, we're not even starting at 0 anymore. We're starting at 350. We are looking at 400. Yes, that was a good memory one there. 450, 500, 550, 600, 650, 700, 750, and 800. Right, so those are the activities that we're doing together. Now, if we go to our next slide, this is one of the activities that's in your workbook. One of the activities in your workbook. As you can see, we have to figure out what is our pattern. What are we counting in? So the first one says we're starting at 100 and we're ending at 200, right? But let's look at the little lines in between. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 lines between 100 and 200. So we are going to be counting in 10, intervals of 10. So I've started it for you, 100, 110, 120, 130. Your task is to complete that little activity right up to 200. Your next line is 3. We are counting now from 3,000 to 4,000. So let's look at from 3,000 to 3,100. We are counting in intervals of 100. So how is that pattern going to look? It's going to look like 3,000, 3,100, 3,200, 3,300, and so forth. And your last one, C, is a little bit more difficult. We have 1,400. And I had to think about this one, 1,410. So what's going to be our next number? What do you think? I think it's going to be 1,420 and then 1,430. So that is one activity in your workbook, right? The other 2 activities, one that says you need to read your numbers and choose which is the bigger number, and then you have another number line activity, which you need to fill in the missing number. Hope you had an interesting time completing your number lines today. In the words of good old Tigger there from Winnie the Pooh, TTFN, Tata for now. See you on Monday for integrated learning. Bye-bye.
Good afternoon, Year 10s. How are you? I hope you're well. So this afternoon we're doing comprehension, and I'm sure you've heard that word at school, but what do we mean by the word comprehension? To comprehend means to hold on to mentally, to understand. So you're listening and you're taking that in and concentrating and understanding what the person's saying. So the word comprehension means your ability to understand something, how you do it. So an example of comprehension is how well you understand what is written or said, understanding the ideas and the facts, etc. So let us have a practice by reading and listening to some facts about birds in the Northern Territory, then checking to see if we comprehend and understand. So I thought I should look at this by Dave reading and me seeing if I understand. Welcome on, Dave.
Hello, Miss. The Australian bustard is a large ground bird of grasslands, woodlands, and open country across northern Australia and southern New Guinea. It is commonly referred to in Central Australia as the bush turkey, particularly by Aboriginal people. I'm going to ask you some questions to see if you understood. Where does the Australian bustard live?
Dave, I was trying to listen, and I think it lives in grassland and bushlands in the Northern Territory and, let me think, southern New Guinea.
Yep, Northern Australia and southern New Guinea. You're right, Miss.
Northern Australia, okay.
Well done. What is the more commonly used name that people use when talking about the Australian bustard?
Well, I've heard a lot of people say it, bush turkey.
Yes.
They come from my country as well.
Fantastic. You got it right, Miss. Well done.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Dave.
No worries.
I was trying to listen.
Okay.
Now, often it's good to look at the questions first. Now, I didn't know what Mr. Dave was going to ask me, so it's a little bit harder. But with your written comprehensions, your questions are usually there. So let's look at the question for the next text. Where is this common water bird found? So I'm looking for some places. And who has eaten them in the territory for thousands of years? And what do they eat? I'm going to read this text, and I can take my mask off, Dave, because we've got a little bit of space between us. This common water bird, if we can have the next slide, please. This common water bird is found in Northern Australia and Southern New Guinea. Magpie goose has been eaten by Indigenous people in the territory for thousands of years and is a staple for modern-day hunters in the top end. Their diet is mainly plants, though young geese will also eat invertebrates. Magpie geese usually breed late in the wet season. Now remember we looked at the questions, if we could go back to the question slide. Where is this common water bird found? So we were listening to places, and it was like the last bird, Northern Australia and Southern New Guinea. And who has eaten them in the territory for thousands of years? Well, they told us that also, that Indigenous people have eaten them for thousands of years. And what do they eat? The birds eat mainly plants, the adult birds, and the young geese also eat invertebrates. So it was a lot easier to look at the questions first. Now let's have a look at the next passage on hooded parrots. Dave, if you'd like to read that.
Sure, Miss. The hooded parrot is a species of parrot native to the Northern Territory in Australia. It is found in the savanna and open woodlands. It breeds in termite mounds. The diet consists mainly of seeds, berries, and vegetables. Now some questions to see if you understood. I'll just find them. What is the diet of the hooded parrot?
I believe it's seeds, berries, and vegetables.
Yeah. Well done, Miss. That was perfect. And where is the hooded parrot found?
In the Northern Territory, Mr. Dave.
Yeah, that's it.
Yay! I've seen them around a lot, and another fact that I got from that is that they breed in termite mounds.
Yep.
So they've got lots of clay here from the clay pounds.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Dave.
No
That
worries.
was good, you're a good teacher.
All right, thank you.
Okay, some tricks and tips. So if it is a written text, like we've been doing here, as I said, look at the questions first before you read. Then you'll have an idea of what you're looking for. Many times the questions run in the same way as the text. That means the first question is near the start. That's where you'll find the answer. So now for today's worksheet to see if we know what we're doing. So we'll look at that here under the camera. Okay, so listen to the information, but first we'll look at the questions. Hummingbirds are the birds in the world, so fastest, loudest, smallest, all of the above. A hummingbird can flap its wings as many as 80 times in 1 second nest minute. Second nest beat or minute. And the last one, a hummingbird can fly upside down, fly backwards, hover in the air, or all of the above. So what I find really handy is using a highlighter. So let's read the text. Hummingbirds are the smallest birds in the world. Some are less than 7.5 centimetres long. They got their name from the sound that their wings make. Hummingbirds flap their wings as many as 80 times per second. This makes a humming sound. A hummingbird's wings let it fly in any direction. Now that was one of our questions, wasn't it? Hummingbirds can fly backwards. They can even fly upside down. These are things that other birds cannot do. Hummingbirds can be fun to watch. If you watch a hummingbird, you might see them hovering in the air. You might even see hummingbirds chasing each other. So let's go to the questions. Hummingbirds are the somethingest birds in the world. Well, that was our first sentence. They are the smallest birds in the world. So, first sentence, first question, there's our answer, C. Second question, a hummingbird can flap its wings as many as 80 times in 1 second nest beat or minute. Well, 80 times in 1 second's not possible, but let's go up here and find the number 80 times. Oh, it is seconds, so I'm wrong and I wasn't concentrating. 80 times per second. A hummingbird can fly upside down, backwards, and hover in the air. So let's find the word fly, so they can fly in any direction, backwards, upside down, backwards, and hover. So we've got an option to use all of the above. Now, explain how the hummingbird got its name. He got its name from flapping his wings so fast, and this makes a humming sound. So you'll need to write a sentence here, and I'm not going to do it now because we're probably running out of time, but make a sentence around those words. And what kind of things can hummingbirds do that other birds cannot? Can you think of any? Whoops, I hit my head on the camera. These are things that other birds cannot do. So all of those things that we've had in our first little bit of that paragraph, you need to summarise and put down here. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learnt something about the birds up here, the birds in New Guinea, and the hummingbird. So next time you see one, have a look how fast he's flapping his wings and enjoy some of the special things that the hummingbird can do. Thanks, everybody. See you again on Monday.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you are, from Yirara College, and I hope everyone's doing okay. It's a crazy time with all the COVID and the lockdowns and the lockouts and the lock-ins. It's driving me nuts, even down here in Alice Springs. Anyhow, got a story today. Long time ago story. And if you got to understand it, to remember how the country was, where the Son of Mary was living. The Son of Mary, you know the one. Well, where he was living, it was Hebrew people. All up and down the land, Hebrew people. His people. But also, right in the middle, other people. People called Samaritans. And they had some land right in the middle called Samaria. Samaria was their land. All around it, Hebrew land. That's the people of the Son of Mary. One day, Jesus is traveling from up north down south. And in the middle, it's the land of the Samaritans. Now his people, Hebrew people, and Samaritan people, you know, they don't get on. Long time ago, there was one people. They were one family, but long time ago, they had all this, I don't know, trouble, arguments, fighting. And now, they don't get on, they don't like each other, they don't shake hands, they don't even want to talk to each other. Now Jesus is traveling from up north down to the south. In the middle, he's got to come real close to Samaritan land. He's walking through, he comes to a little community. Outside of the community, there's 10 fellas. 10 fellas are standing outside, looking at him. And he looks at them. He sees they got leprosy. That's a sickness on your skin. It's really bad. And if you had that sickness on your skin, it was shame. Couldn't go anywhere. It was like lockdown. It was like quarantine. Everyone would just walk away from you. So anyhow, Jesus sees 10 fellas standing out the front of this community. And they have this sickness on their skin. And when he gets closer, they sing out to him, "Hey, Son of Mary, please help us." And you know what Jesus does? He just looks at him and he says, "Get going. Get going. Go and show yourself to the priests." Now, if you had that sickness on the skin, and you wanted to go somewhere, you had to go to a priest. And the priest would look at your skin and say, yeah, it's right. That sickness is gone. You can go. Or the priest might say, nah, it's no good. It's not fixed. You've got to stay still. So these 10 fellas, they sing out to Jesus, "Hey, Son of Mary, can you help us?" And he says, "Get going. Get going and go and show yourself to the priest." so he can look at your skin. Well, you know what happens. You know the story. They hardly got going on the road and they checked their skin. And every single one of them, their skin is good. And now the kicker in the story, one of them, just one, turns around and walks back to Jesus to say thank you. And that one fella, guess where he was from? He was from Samaria. He was a Samaritan. The Samaritan comes back. He says thank you to Jesus. And Jesus says to him, hey, didn't 10 fellas get better? How come only one came back to say thank you? How come only the Samaritan has come back? What about the others? Well, when Jesus told what happened, when he was moving around later on, some people didn't like this story. They said, Jesus, how come you always telling stories where the Samaritans look good? Do you know? We don't like them. We don't like to talk to them. Jesus said to him, well, that's what happened. Only that one fella came back to say thank you. And he was a Samaritan. I hope wherever you are, today, tonight, tomorrow, you look after yourself and your families. And I wonder what this story, this old story, can teach us today. Amen, amen. Goodbye.
You ain't ready. You ain't ready. You ain't ready for change.
Good morning.
Welcome back to Yirara.
Hello and welcome to our Friday session of Yirara2U for the Year 11 and 12. We're starting with integrated learning and we're looking at our smoking workbook. So we've been learning a lot of things about why smoking is bad for our bodies. Next week we're going to start a new topic on, it's still on smoking, but it's on passive smoking. So it's when people around you are smoking and you breathe in their smoke fumes. We're going to learn more about that. So today we're going to do a quiz so we can recap what we've learned. And I've got a special guest who's going to help us.
Hi everyone!
Oh, Emily! Oh, hello, welcome.
Hello.
Now I hope you're ready for this test.
I'm so ready.
Now it's not really a test, it's just a recap so that we can make it stick in our brains a bit more. I'm going to put this one down. And as we go through, we've got 10 questions. I'm going to read them out. And Emily's going to pick an answer from up the top here. They're all muddled up, so I'm going to see how well she's been listening. Okay. The first question. What is the highly addictive chemical called that is found in tobacco plants? What's that?
I reckon that is nicotine.
Nicotine, correct. All right. What are two parts of the body that can be affected long term from smoking?
Well, your lungs is a body part.
Yeah. And what does it say there about the lungs?
So it says smoking causes 84% of deaths from lung cancer.
Ooh,
that's
a
pretty
lot.
long term.
Yeah.
And also the brain.
Yeah, great.
And this one says smoking increases the chance of having a stroke, which is bleeding to the brain, by 50%.
Right, so it can affect your lungs and your brain.
Yeah.
Long term. Okay, well then, what are 2 other ways our body is affected from smoking? Can you see any others?
Yeah, so your teeth might go yucky and yellow.
Oh, yeah.
And also, you might have trouble breathing and keeping up in sports because your lungs aren't working good anymore.
And there's 2 more. Yellow teeth and trouble breathing. Okay, number 4. This is a true or false question. True or false? Peer pressure, family influence, and stress are 3 reasons people take up smoking.
For sure,
right?
for sure.
Yeah, that's true. There are more, but there are 3 of them there. Okay, number 5. So with this one, I've done 2 sentences and you have to fill in the blanks. So it says, addiction is when the something or mind really wants or needs something. So what is it, something or mind?
I think the body.
That fits, that is perfect. Addiction is when the body or mind really wants or needs something. Second sentence. It is repeated involvement, so over and over again, with a something or something even though it is harmful. What do you think could be in there?
Repeated involvement with a substance.
Substance, that could be drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, yep.
Or activity.
Okay, so that could be gambling, that could be playing on your phone, video games. So repeated involvement with these 2, even though it's harmful, it gets really bad for you. Number 6, here we go. What are 3 things people get addicted to other than cigarettes? I just gave you some clues.
Yeah, this one's easy. Gambling.
Yes, pokies maybe.
Alcohol.
Perfect.
And drugs.
Lovely. Gambling, alcohol, drugs. Okay. What about if someone smoked 1 packet of cigarettes every week for a whole year, so that's 12 months, how much would it cost them?
Well, I'm guessing the money answer.
I think you might be right.
$2,600.
$2,600. So think about what you could actually spend that money on other than cigarettes. Okay. Number 8. What are 3 things that can help when giving up smoking? What could you use?
Any of these things here?
Great.
These
do you want me to put one up?
nicotine products.
Yep. Nicotine patches.
Patches, gum, and the spray.
And the spray. I'm going to put that up here. This is what Misha used yesterday. He had the spray to show us in the interview. Okay. Another true or false? True or false? There are over 4,000 chemicals in a cigarette.
Yeah, that's true. I know that's true.
That is true. Over 4,000. And your last question, you're going to need a whiteboard marker for this.
Lucky I came so prepared.
Well done. Okay. Number 10. Are e-cigarettes or vapes, are they damaging to your body? Is that a yes or a no?
Yeah, they are.
They are.
Definitely. You're still breathing in smoke and there's still a lot of chemicals.
Definitely. And we'll be hearing more about these in the coming weeks, but it was a bit of a trick question for you. I'm glad you knew the answer.
Thank you.
Great. So I hope that helped to go over some of the information that we've covered over the last couple of weeks. And next week we'll have some more information and some more learning for you. Next up, we have maths. See ya.
Was that hard?
Sure, it doesn't. And I Hello Year 11 and 12s, we're back and we're going to do some maths. This is the last lesson for a Friday and then it's the weekend. So let's pump through and see what we've learnt. Today we're going to do another recap and we're going to look at mode, median and mean for a new set of data. So we're going to do all three today and see if we can remember what we had to do to find these three things. Okay, so I'm going to come up the front here. The data that we're using today, we are looking at the top male goal scorers in the AFL 2021 season. Some of you might be disappointed with these three flags here. We've got the Geelong Cats, Melbourne and Carlton, but they were the top three goal kickers last year, so I added them here. Pity Crows isn't there, but you know, down the line there is a Crows one. Okay, so we're going to have a look at 11 different number of goals. So we got, first of all, we're going to find the mode. All right, and so Emily is going to help me. Before we do anything though, we have to put these in order from smallest to biggest. And luckily, it already is like that, but it's just lengthways. So I'm going to get Emily to write this up on the board. Are you ready, Emily?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, we have 47. Then we have another 47. Next up, we have 48. Another 48. Another 48.
Cool.
Now we got 51. Beautiful. We have 51 again. Yep. We have 55. Lovely. 58. 59. And 62. Beautiful. Okay. So when we're finding the mode of a set of data, we're finding the number that appears the most. And we're lucky there is one number only that appears the most in this data. Can you work out what that is?
Yeah, you can pretty obviously see it.
Beautiful. It's the number 48. Okay, and we can see that it's there 3 times. So the mode of these top goal kickers is the number 48. Well done. All right. Next, we're going to use this same lot of data, but we're going to find the median. Now, the median is the middle number of the set of data. So we're going to have to use those numbers again. And Emily, I actually wonder if we can just add on the 55, 58, 59, 62 just a crossways. Do you want to do that? Yeah. Beautiful. Sorry, we're just going to make this a bit easier.
So what was it again? 55.
It was 55, 58, 59, and 62. And sometimes this helps. It's how you lay it out. Sometimes that helps you with your maths. So make sure you get it nice and clear. Okay, so we can rub out that the circle around 48. Good one. Lovely. And what Emily will have to do now is she will have to cross off numbers on both sides. So she'll start with the lower side and she'll cross off a number, then she'll cross off one big one. Yep. Lower, big one, lower, big one, lower, big one, lower, big one. And we have one number left and it's number 51. So we can say that the median of this data, the top goal scorers, is 51. Well done, median. Last one we need to find out is the mean. All right, and this isn't about being mean, this is about finding the mean. So the mean is the sum of all the data values divided by the number of data values. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to add up all of those numbers and divide them by 11 because there are 11 numbers. Okay, so Emily, if you'd like, I can do it on, are you going to do it on your calculator?
Yeah,
and I'll
I
read
can
them
add
out.
them up. Yeah,
So you can
read
do
them
this
out.
on your phones, or some of you might be able to do it on paper, some of you might be able to do it in your heads. Are you ready? We're going to go 47.
Yeah.
Plus 47.
Yeah.
Plus 48.
Yeah.
Plus 48.
Yeah.
Plus 48.
Yeah.
Plus 51.
Yeah.
Plus 51.
Yeah.
Plus 55.
Yeah.
Plus 58.
Yeah.
Plus 59.
Yeah.
Plus 62.
That's it?
Yeah. So what's the answer to that?
The answer is 574.
574. So we have added all of these numbers together and we got 574. Now we have to, I just thought I'd help out. Hang on, I'm just going to cross and then cross. Okay. Now we have to divide that by, how many numbers are there all together there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
11. So we have to do 574 divided by 11. Or it could be written like this. 574 over 11. Okay, what do we got? What's the answer?
52.18.
Okay, that's a bit of an annoying number because it's got a decimal in there, but that is the mean of this data. The mean is 51.
52.
Hang on one moment. Stop tricking me.
0.18.
52.18. Maybe check that at home, okay? I don't know anymore. Okay, so we've done all three. We've done the mode, the median, and the mean. And this was all on the data of the top goal scorers for last year, AFL. I think that's enough for today. It's Friday. We're all getting a bit delirious. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you again on Monday, same time. And hope you all have a great weekend. Looking forward to seeing you again. Bye.
Bye.
Evening, whatever it is, wherever you are, from Yirara College, and I hope everyone's doing okay. It's a crazy time with all the COVID and the lockdowns and the lockouts and the lock-ins. It's driving me nuts, even down here in Alice Springs. Anyhow, got a story today. Long time ago story. And if you got to understand it, to remember how the country was where the Son of Mary was living. The Son of Mary, you know the one. Well, where he was living, it was Hebrew people. All up and down the land, Hebrew people. His people. But also, right in the middle, other people. People called Samaritans. And they had some land right in the middle called Samaria. Samaria was their land. All around it, Hebrew land. That's the people of the Son of Mary. One day, Jesus is traveling from up north down south. And in the middle, it's the land of the Samaritans. Now his people, Hebrew people, and Samaritan people, you know, they don't get on. Long time ago, there was one people. They were one family, but long time ago, they had all this, I don't know, trouble, arguments, fighting. And now, they don't get on, they don't like each other, they don't shake hands, they don't even want to talk to each other. Now Jesus is traveling from up north down to the south. In the middle, he's got to come real close to Samaritan land. He's walking through, he comes to a little community, outside of the community, there's 10 fellas. 10 fellas are standing outside, looking at him, and he looks at them. He sees they got leprosy. That's a sickness on your skin. It's really bad. And if you had that sickness on your skin, it was shame. Couldn't go anywhere. It was like lockdown. It was like quarantine. Everyone would just walk away from you. So anyhow, Jesus sees 10 fellas standing out the front of this community, and they have this sickness on their skin. And when he gets closer, they sing out to him, "Hey, Son of Mary, please help us." And you know what Jesus does? He just looks at him and he says, "Get going. Get going. Go and show yourself to the priests." Now, if you had that sickness on the skin, and you wanted to go somewhere, you had to go to a priest, and the priest would look at your skin and say, yeah, it's right. That sickness is gone. You can go. Or the priest might say, nah, it's no good. It's not fixed. You've got to stay still. So these 10 fellas, they sing out to Jesus, "Hey, Son of Mary, can you help us?" And he says, "Get going. Get going and go and show yourself to the priest so he can look at your skin." Well, you know what happens. You know the story. They hardly got going on the road, and they checked their skin, and every single one of them, their skin is good. And now the kicker in the story, one of them, just one, turns around and walks back to Jesus to say thank you. And that one fella, guess where he was from? He was from Samaria. He was a Samaritan. The Samaritan comes back. He says thank you to Jesus, and Jesus says to him, "Hey, didn't 10 fellas get better? How come only one came back to say thank you? How come only the Samaritan has come back? What about the others?" Wow. When Jesus told what happened, when he was moving around later on, some people didn't like this story. They said, "Jesus, how come you always telling stories where the Samaritans look good? Do you know? We don't like them. We don't like to talk to them." Jesus said to him, "Well, that's what happened. Only that one fella came back to say thank you, and he was a Samaritan." I hope wherever you are, today, tonight, tomorrow, you look after yourself and your families. And I wonder what this story, this old story, can teach us today. Amen, amen. Goodbye.
Well, what's that?